What's up, world? It's your man, Cal Quigley IV. Welcome to another episode of the Wallet and Wellness Podcast. I am Cal Quigley, the Wallet.
And I'm Chris Randall, the Wellness. Listen, on this podcast, we give you info to help grow your wealth and maintain good mental health.
Yes, sir. So how you feeling today, man? You're looking real sporty today, man. You're looking good.
Listen. Yeah. I got my European pants on and ankle out. I'm ready to go.
Ashless. Put a little lotion on there this morning.
All the melatonin, the melanin spots are, flowing today.
Gotcha.
Like it's like you getting the sheen here.
Yeah.
You getting the sheen here, and I'm just kind of like beaming. That's what I call Willie beaming.
Screaming Willie beaming. Say, man, so when you light skinned, like you can never be ashy. That's the one thing people can catch you slipping on.
Okay.
So they be like, look at the, he ashy.
Is it a different ash? Is light skinned ash different from dark skinned ash?
I don't know, because all I ever had was light skinned ash.
Why am I so
ashy?
Why am I so intrigued right now?
I don't know.
Like I want to be like to compare it. I don't know, because y'all skin different.
No, it ain't.
Okay, it's not different. All right, here we go.
Especially when you go to court. Light skin, dark skin, 25 to life. Like it don't matter, man. But no, man, I'm feeling real good. We got a chance to see the good brother 19 Keys in Dallas the other day, man. Phenomenal. Shout out to EYL and their entire movement. That's where the idea for what we're doing down here in Texas kind of came from, man. So we've been following those brothers for a long time, since 2019. And, sometimes people will try and throw salt in the game. They'll be like, oh, y'all trying to be like EYL. You trying to be like Trevor. Man, we really aren't.
Yeah.
But I think about it like this. Like if you got different restaurants, you got different car companies, you got different, hotel brands, everybody may not like Hilton. Some people want to stay at the Sheraton.
Yeah.
So why in the Black culture do we always have to like pit each other against each other?
Yeah.
So we don't want to be EYL. We want to be the Wallet and Wellness.
Yeah. And even if we were, let's say, trying to copy because they're doing something good, is that like a bad thing? Is only two guys out of the whole country that can talk about wealth and growing your wealth and getting into business? Only two people can do that?
So our community, though.
Oh, yeah. It's like when you occupy a spot, it's like you the only one that can occupy that spot. Yeah. When that, like you say, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
Because whatever avenues they're going into, it's going to help whoever's watching. And then whatever avenues we're going to go. Because I ain't never seen a podcast telling people how to get out their mama house.
I've never seen that myself.
I've never
Check the
seen
AI
that.
and make sure see if that's in there.
Yeah. So no, I think it's good. And what you're doing and putting your journey out there, as far as these are the things that I went through, these are some pitfalls that I got into. I think those are the things that are most helpful, because a lot of times people try to keep those moments to themselves. I don't need nobody to know, when I was down bad. Right. All my posts are about me on top. Boom. Look, I'm next to the jet. Cool. But who, like, I don't know nobody with a jet, I don't. So it's important, it's important to be like, okay, cool. How you get to the jet though? Yeah. And I think those are the things that, we're doing. So I
think, when you have someone that looks like you, or that, came from the same area or same background, those kind of things, I get a lot of veterans that'll come up to me and they're like, bro, I seen the podcast, or I saw you talk, and I'm trying to figure out how to get it like you now that I'm out of the military. Yeah. And so just going back to the whole conversation around EYL, like those guys aren't veterans, so maybe they can't speak to veterans like I can. People have never lost a father, so they can't speak to that like you can. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so Black people, well, whoever, because sometimes we'll blame Black people for a lot of stuff.
We do.
And sometimes it's not Black people, it's those plants that they put in there. You know what I mean? Even when you look historically back to the Civil Rights Movement, they would plant people in that movement to do certain things so that they could say, oh, when the black people out there, no, it was this cat over here that the CIA hired that actually, threw the pipe bomb and started the riot, So we got to stop blaming our people. But at the same time, we got to stop aiming our arrows at each other. Because, like Keys was saying the other night, in order for our culture to move forward, it's going to take some people that are willing to be out in front and take those arrows for everybody else, but everybody else has to continue coming forward. It makes no sense for us to be doing what we're doing, and we're the only ones winning off of it. So, take the information, chew it up, and do what you can with it so you can get to where you're trying to get.
I think there's a lot of times where whatever the reason, there's a ceiling that is around the idea of Black success. I'll say this, being Black and successful.
Right.
I'll say that. Not Black successful, but being successful while Black. It's like you can only go this far, you can only do, this. So a lot of times, subconsciously, we'll put limitations or only see the things that somebody is doing that happens to be Black. We'll do that before a ceiling is put on it. And I think a lot of it has to do with the historically speaking, the amount of success that we've seen as a whole. In 2023, there are still areas of society that are still the first Black.
Oh man.
So
crazy.
I think because of that, we are, at least in this country, kind of used to us only getting so far. So it kind of brings up all of these subconscious things that we don't really know is happening. So it's important to really pay attention to what you're saying, to what you are thinking, to how you're thinking, so you can make sure somebody's success can just be success.
Right.
And they happen to be, Black. So I think, even in the language, the things that we say is important, but I can be extra. I'm extra and I'll take things to heart.
Well, you're a trained actor, so they made you extra.
That's, it's a little truth to that, but I think it's important, so.
Yeah, on camera, you like a real suave and cool, collected guy, but like off the camera, he's Dame Dash little cousin. So he be turning stuff over.
I do turn up. Turn up. We have to specifically, kind of tweak my mic so it can hit those loud peaks. But that's just so the show won't go off the rafters a little bit, because I'll be like, listen, so tell me what you were saying. I be doing all kinds of stuff.
Oh, man. So earlier we were talking about, and shout out to the brother, Tyler Perry, man. Tyler Perry, man.
And the thing that is important to me is because there are plenty of people out there, Black, white, whoever, who didn't really see that happening. You're gonna do these little Madea movies, and Tyler Perry his, and da, not knowing that this stuff is making money, and he is doing smart things with his money.
Yeah, man.
That's the thing that's like, he's in the running to buy BT, and you like, Tyler Perry got enough money to buy BT?
Sure do. I'm terrible at voices. I tell you,
that's the thing where it's like, don't let something that's a small beginning to you, make it seem like, it's not going to be, or you going to like steps. I remember I heard Tyler Perry on a, interview talk about stop messing up your money. You're in these negotiating rooms and you're I want this amount of money. And if they say no, then you out. And he's like, stop doing that. Take the money that they're giving you and then say, if this is successful, then for round 2, season 2, whatever, this is what I'm looking for, and step up the negotiation process. So that's the thing that's like, wow, that was a good piece of piece of advice.
There's a tactic within negotiations. There's an acronym that we use. It's BATNA, right? Best alternative to no agreement. And that's essentially what he's teaching people. He's just like, hey, maybe there's a price that you're not willing to take at all. And if they say that price, then you got to have some self-respect, right? But at the same token, you have to be able to understand, like you said, hey, this deal may be the one that opens the door. And then from there, you're going to show them who you are. And then they're going to say, okay, Kevin Hart. Perfect example, right? Kevin Hart's first movie, he talks about it publicly, didn't make a whole lot of money. And then, now he's a mega superstar. And the reason why is because he took a little short on the front, but now he getting it all back. And when we think about as an entrepreneur, when we start our companies and we get an opportunity to get a contract with, say, a Coca-Cola or, a Nike or something like that, we're like, oh, I need to hit a home run on this one. But it may not be that contract that actually gets you the bag. It may be taking a smaller contract because now you can put them on your portfolio.
Right.
And then when the next person comes around, they're like, well, I figured Coke probably paid you $2 million, so we're going to go ahead and, offer you $3 million. And the real, you're like, actually, I'm paying Coke to be on there. You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, that's one of those things we have to think about as entrepreneurs.
Yeah, it's big.
Wouldn't it be nice to just lay in bed with your loved one and smell an incredible scent of breakfast being prepared by your own personal chef? Well, let's make this a real situation. Book, Chef Monte.
H. Demand clothing company stock is now on the rise and is quickly evolving as a major influencer in fashion, by becoming a multifaceted brand that the smartest investors are keeping on their radar for 2023. For a relatively young company, H. Demand is now forming strategic relationships with major brands to become the next big thing in fashion. And if you don't know, well, now you know. Urban design has always been at the forefront of any major design company. The influence is loved and respected worldwide. Everywhere you look, people are looking for the current new trend in fashion to look their flyest. Hence, the slogan of H. Demand. Come be fly with us.
Boom. So now I got a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
Because I have seen, we've been acquainted, we've been friends now for, it's going on, I think, 1.5 years. Okay. And you have a lot of entrepreneurialism, in you, a lot of your goals, a lot of your the things on your to-do list are very entrepreneurial. Where did that start? Like, when did you get started? What brought that about?
So me and my man H, shout out to H, 7th and 8th grade at Dunbar Middle School.
Okay.
No, we were at Dunbar High School. Anyway, started pushing blow pops in the classroom, in the hallways, in Miss Diddy class. He was really the one that had the vision for it.
Okay.
I was just kind of the financier at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have the selling skills or anything, but just being around my cousin, man, and then coming from an area where, unfortunately, it was a lot of dope being sold. So you saw people have that kind of entrepreneur spirit the wrong way, but, you saw it. And so for me, it was actually a seed that got planted that actually didn't start to blossom, man, until I think I was in the Air Force for like 5 or 6 years before I actually started thinking as an entrepreneur. I started my first company when I was in the Air Force. I used to go to people's house and fix their computers and things like that.
Okay.
So, Best Buy, y'all stole my idea with the Geek Squad. I was Geek Squad back then. And from there, I was always taking college classes. I think I said that on the previous episode. Been in school forever, right? Just one of the things that I like to do is learn. And I started writing for a capstone project for my bachelor's degree.
Okay.
And I came up with this idea for a food service that could go on base to the military bases and deliver food. So you have to remember, this is after September 11th. We had been attacked, so they changed a lot of rules on base. Back in the day, you could sit up in your dorm room, call, order a pizza, and it'll come to your door.
Yeah.
After September 11th, they were like, well, you can't come on base. You got to go to the front gate, go get your food, you know. So if you've been drinking a little bit, like, this is just a bad look, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I wrote this paper, came up with the idea for what became Cousins Delivery. And from there, I wrote the paper. One of my professors was very interested in it. This is back in 04, right? 04, 05. And so he was like, man, this is a really good idea. If you want to do it, I'll help you.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm good. I'm just trying to graduate, bro. Like,
yeah.
Give me an A. That's all I need from you. And he was like, nah, he just kept, you know, saying it. And so finally I called my man H, and I was like, hey, I got this idea I came up with, man. Take a look at it. Cause he's somebody that I always trust. You know, we go back and forth on everything that we do together. And he saw it and he was like, bro, that's it right there. He was like, when you, I was living in DC at the time. He was like, when you coming back to Texas? And I'm like, seriously? He was like, this is it. We can make $1 million off of this. And so I'm like, okay. He my guy. He always give me really good advice. So I was like, all right, man, I'm starting to think about this now. So I sent him some information, man. No lie. We put the entire company together in about 6 months.
Okay.
But like the marketing and all of that stuff, he may have done it in 2 or 3 days. So having a good team and having a good synergy with your team is a really important piece. And so he sent me all of that, and I'm like, man. And at the time, he was printing up shirts and doing a couple other things. And so he's like, man, seriously, like, we can do this. And so, man, I started praying to God, and I was just going through some personal stuff at the time. And man, I woke up one morning and I was like, if you want me to do this, God, like, send me a message. And he's like, fool, I already sent you like 20. What else you want, you know?
Yeah.
But man, I packed up my Mercedes. I sold all of my stuff. I literally drove back to Texas, and we started Cousins Delivery in 2006.
Okay, so one of the things that I hear you talking about as far as H is concerned, on your team, it's important to have a vision, like the visionary. And at that particular time, it sounds like H was the visionary, because you just like, I mean, yes, I came up with the concept, but when you tell it to somebody, or when somebody sees it and they see, they don't just see this area, they see this whole region. They say this whole whatever. I think that's one of the things that kind of separates somebody who doesn't have vision from somebody who does, is the ability to see beyond what it is right now. That's the thing, with a lot of different, something that you can think of that you think is small. Oh, that's small. Geek Squad. Somebody gonna come and help you with your computer. You like, what possibly could I need help with from my computer? That's one of the things that I love about Apple. I know people always talk about Apple is, you know, their phones are too pricey, and they're, you know, the thing that they create is community. When you go get a phone at the Apple store, they also give you the opportunity, especially if you're coming from Android. If you're,
why you pointing at me when you say
no, because
that?
I'm talking to you.
Okay, I'm
talking to you.
I'm not going to Apple, bro.
No. I'm not you. Stay with whoever you with. But the point is, they don't let you feel like you have to figure it out by yourself. It's not hard, but they say, hey, we got class at 1 o'clock for people who just got a new iPhone and their first time iPhone users.
I didn't know they do classes.
They do, bro. Like it's a lot of older people or people who are just first time. They'll just go through, this is how you do your messages. This is where the settings are. This is the thing. Well, how do I blah, blah, blah? Nope. So you go here, you do this. Like, it is amazing that they'll take you and put you under their Apple wing and just say, let's teach you why, even if it's propaganda in there, let's teach you why this is a better device, because on your older device, you could do this. Let's show you how you could do. Like, it is amazing. Classes for everything. They have classes to teach you how to use the phone app.
Wow.
They have classes to teach you how to do things. If it's your first Apple computer, they have classes to teach you how to move around on the computer, how to do this, how to do that. So it's that thing that is visionary, where it's like, no, we need to set ourselves apart by doing this. The whole way they set up the Apple Store is amazing to me, because you don't have to go in there to buy a phone. You just want to go play with the stuff.
Actually, I ain't gonna lie, I've been in a couple of hours.
No, you like, I'm just in here playing around.
It's like a lounge.
Yeah, it's like a lounge.
It's real lounging.
So what I hear in your story, H, being that guy to say, no, you're looking at this as like some project.
Right.
No. I'm looking at this like this is a business. This is a revenue stream, for us. Yep. This is how we gonna get from this level to this level, So, all right, Cousins delivery. And then you did that for how long, and then moved on to what? Like, what happened?
We did Cousins Delivery from 2006 to 2008. The recession came, hit us pretty hard. And so we shut down shop. A lot of the restaurants we were delivering from, went out of existence. So we're like, all right, we got to reload. So H and I went back to our respective corners, figured out, the next move that we were going to make. I was getting married at the time and, had my daughter and all of those kind of things. But he kept like pulling on me, and I appreciate him so much for this. He kept pulling on me like, bro, we got to come up with the next thing, man. So I'm in the lab. I'm trying to figure out the next thing. And then that's when I came up with Reforming Academics. Okay. So the RAP program was a nonprofit that we started. And so through that, what we did is we got contracts with the community college and then with Fort Worth ISD. And so that was an after-school program where we were giving people, very similar to what we do with Quantum Prosperous, just practical information. At that time, we were working with middle schoolers and high schoolers, and then, first-time and college students, those kind of things. And so then that kind of went, we technically still have the Reforming Academics program. We don't do as much as we used to with it. But, that was the next thing that happened. And so again, H was right there with me. He was like, man, let's figure this thing out. We ate off of that for a while. That turned into, that was a good one. That was
This the Mix Show, the Imperial Mix Master JP. Check me out every Saturday night from 6 to 8. For sure. 214-431-5032. Fishbowl Radio Network, FBRN.US. Check me out every Saturday night. Fishbowl Radio Network, FBRN.US. FBRN.US. The Imperial Mixmaster JP. The Mix Show. Check us out.
The Quantum Prosperous financial firm serves as a catalyst for men of all races. It celebrates diversity to shatter the barriers of financial limitations, recognizing that the collective strength of different races and cultures enriches the entire community. By fostering a spirit of collaboration and shared success, this group has created an empowering ecosystem where everyone can thrive. Join us as we shatter the glass ceiling of success for all and create a legacy of abundance. Quantum Prosperous.
Okay, so we talked about a little bit of, back in the day, starting, getting to where you are now.
Yep.
Now we got QP, Quantum Prosperous.
Quantum Prosperous.
So what's going on with that? What's the future, look like?
So when we built Quantum Prosperous, it was right as the pandemic came on. Okay. And, we wanted to be able to teach people how to invest in crypto and stocks, understanding, the stock market. Real estate at the time was real heavy, so we added that. That's something that we've been doing for a long time as well. And so really the future of Quantum Prosperous, it it changes all the time.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Even with this podcast, when I started Quantum Prosperous 3 years ago, I didn't think about a podcast.
Yeah.
But then you and I sat down, we started, synergizing and everything. We were like, man, why don't we do a podcast? Everybody else doing a podcast ain't talking about nothing. So why don't we do something and, actually put some real stuff on wax, right? And so when I think about the future of Quantum Prosperous, I would say maybe, of course, growing our memberships,
Okay.
and then getting to the point where we can teach people how to go and get their Series 7 so
Okay.
that they can create financial advisor offices in our communities.
Okay, pause. Now tell us what that is.
Yeah. So a financial advisor or a financial strategist like myself is someone who can help you put together a portfolio,
Okay.
diversify that portfolio, and put you in a position to be able to have money for the rest of your life.
Okay.
And pass generational wealth on through trusts and, different things like that.
Okay.
And so it's so much information that our community doesn't have.
Right.
And part of it is because we don't have access to it.
Okay,
Or we
yeah.
feel like we don't have access to it.
Yeah.
So like even with Quantum Prosperous, when we have our conferences, we do it at a church.
Okay.
Why? Because that's where most people are coming
Yeah.
and getting fed. And
Yeah.
so now we're feeding you on the financial tip. And so just kind of pushing the envelope on
Okay.
what a financial company that's black and brown owned can do.
Can do.
Yeah. That's what I see the future of Quantum Prosperous.
Yeah. I think a lot of historically that is a place or an industry, an area that we weren't necessarily, involved in.
Mhm.
I remember as I was reading, it was a book about black banks and the history of black, banks, or the history of black people, and banks.
And banking. Yeah.
And what
yeah.
that has done to us, over time. When you talk about people like, Spike Lee has his company, 40 Acres and a Mule.
Right.
That's from an actual, I'll say, ploy to get black people to put their money in the banks.
Yep.
Because land was and still is a way to grow your wealth, and we wanted to be able to have access to land. And then the government told us you're going to be able to get that with the Freedmen's Bank. We put our money in, and then that money was stolen and used to invest in railroads at that time, which were going downhill. Lost all the money. So you talk about, historically speaking, us not knowing about money, not knowing about how to use money, what to do with it, all those sorts of things. I think a company like Quantum Prosperous, to be able to educate people, to be able to kind of give you the information that you need and help you strategize, what to do and how to grow it. Whether that be you wanting to have as close to 7 streams as possible, or whether you want to be able to start a trust, or whether there's so many different things.
So many.
That's the thing that boggles my mind is every couple of days, every couple of weeks, I'm learning something else about money or what to do with it, or how other people have used their money, to turn it into blah, blah, blah. So that's the thing that's always fascinating to me, because I'm like, it's something else.
Oh, man, it's always something else. One of the services that we offer is setting up a family bank. And so when people hear family bank, they're like, I don't understand that, right? It's super easy to understand. You put your money the same places that the banks put your money, except that 10% that they normally keep for themselves and give you like 0.0001, you get all of that in that account. Now, the key with that is the younger you get it started, the better, because, everybody can't get the account. Reach out to us. We'll explain what that means, right? But if you're able to get a family bank, you can essentially change your family tree forever. Say, for instance, you have $1 million face value policy when you pass away, right? Everybody's going to pass away. In that family bank, you have the beneficiaries, everybody in the family. So when they pass away, that $1 million doesn't go to little Johnny over here to figure out what to do at 18 with $1 million. It goes into a family trust, a family bank. And then from there, you can stipulate how that money is paid out to little Johnny. So when he gets 30 and he's finished college and he gets $200,000, he now knows what to do with it. Versus, a lot of times that money is blown immediately.
It reminds me of a guy in our men's group, Trey. He's always explaining to us the difference between, you know, big families, you know, back in the day, like the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts. Rockefellers had a family bank, you know, still have money today.
17 generations later.
Vanderbilts did not. They don't have the same amount of, you know.
The Vanderbilts are black now. They call them the black Vanderbilts. Yeah, because they don't have any money.
Dang.
Okay, anyway.
And see, that's the thing where it's like,
make sure you edit that.
We know those, or we have those, you know, tropes or nicknames or whatever, but in actuality, that's terrible that you are black because you don't have any money. Like that's like so it's like
changing the narrative.
We definitely are, you know. But those are the things that we were talking about earlier, as far as those subtle things that we still think about and hold kind of against each other, because it's just kind of, it's so common knowledge just to be like, black owned business, you know, the customer service ain't great. Like, it's just a thing that we do instead of, you know, either trying to help or still trying to support in spite of, let's say they do have bad customer service. You can still, they still make chicken, so you can still go buy, you know, some chicken or do whatever. So it's just certain things that I think we have to do to really continue to support ourselves.
If they have bad customer service and you know how to do good customer service, why don't you go in there and help them? Tell them, hey, give me a contract. I'm going to help you guys get your customer service set up. You know, we have in our community the greatest amount of skill set that gets wasted and lost because we're not willing to work with one another. That's the whole idea behind our Guardians group, right? It's 13 black men from the ages of, I don't know, I guess 19 20, something like that, right? Oldest is 52. But there's so much game and wisdom that is in each person in there. And because we're moving all together, we're purchasing all together, it gives us the opportunity to showcase what can happen if black men work together. And that's one of the ideas behind why we're so intent on pushing that out to the masses.
Okay, all right. So before we, you know, get out of here, you know, the entrepreneurial guru, give us some, just some entrepreneurial tips. You know, it seems like I can say that, and it's like you got 1,000 different things to say, but what are some things that people can do if they're starting, let's say they're starting their entrepreneurial, you know, journey. What are some things that they should be doing and looking out for and all of that?
That's a great question. The first thing I would say is get a good team around you. Get people that you can trust, and get people that do what you don't do well around you. That's what I did. You know, he has a mind for marketing. He understands, you know, how to get people's attention and those kind of things. He understands branding and logos and all of that. And at the time, I was just like business. That's all I know. So I allowed him to impress upon me understanding how to do those things better. And then, you know, there was a lot of overlap there, and then we brought other people in that did other things better. So that's the first thing. Second thing, structure yourself correctly, right? So we're not doing DBAs no more, right? Go start you an LLC, S Corp, C Corp, and that way you're able to protect yourself. Because when we talk about Cousins Delivery, had we known what we know now about business, we could have protected that idea a little bit better. And then every time somebody get Uber Eats, we'd be like, cha-ching, order more, right? So definitely structuring everything correctly. And then, you know, for me, man, I keep God first in everything I do. I can remember when we were running Cousins Delivery, and I wasn't making a lot of money when we first started out, and I would take my money and I would put it in the church, you know. And so you're planting those seeds, right? Because God gives us everything, right? There's seed time, there's harvest time. So don't forget to add God into your business. A lot of times now we're trying to appeal to the masses so much that we take God out of our business. But if God gave us the idea, who should you really fear, right? Like he's the one that can take it away.
That's true.
And I can say honestly, with Cousins Delivery, we didn't keep that at the forefront. But with Quantum Prosperous, I mean, even from the name itself, you can see how much God has his hand and guiding us within what we're doing now. So that would probably be the first three things I say for people to kind of focus in on.
There we go. That's
All
another
right.
episode of the Wallet and Wellness podcast. Thank you for joining us. You know, Chris, Kyle.
I'm the Wallet,
There we go. I'm the Wellness. We'll see you next time.
Dub Nation.